It's 2 o'clock already. I see that we have already quite many participants. Thank you very much for joining. Still maybe 1-2 minutes for those who are coming still, because we have registered more than 30 participants. So once again, hello and welcome. Yes, we are glad to welcome you on our first business idea creation workshop for the Central East Europe Hub. And just a few more minutes for those who still are coming. Some rules for the interpretation. If you would like to hear Ukrainian language, please press, yeah, if you would like, I'm saying this in English, if you would like to hear everything in English, please press the little globe on the bottom part of the screen and choose the English channel and stay with that. Don't come back to this little option anymore. Для українців, хто ще доєднується, доброго дня і раді вітати вас на нашому.
Welcome to all of the participants. We are happy to see you at this workshop. Please choose the language interpretation function if you need. You have to press the globe like button on the bottom panel of the Zoom window and choose the appropriate channel. Choose English. You will not have to repeat that during the workshop. You need to do it once in the beginning. Can you hear the interpretation? Check. We have already 30 participants in, so we will start in a second. I'm sorry, my camera went out of order, so I hope we will manage this technical issue, but meanwhile, I will be speaking without the video. We were preparing the presentations. We really invested much effort into the presentations, but we missed this option for video regulation.
Once again, good afternoon and welcome to all of you, those who joined our first business idea creation workshop for the Central East Europe Hub. We have participants from countries of Central East Europe Hub and also participants from other hubs to whom we are very much thankful, who are ready to present their best practices, share with us their experiences for the topics that are of the interest of the members of the Central East European Hub. So let me tell a few words, how do we plan to work today? You have all received our program, and actually the whole program consists of 3 blocks. In the first block, we would like to speak to you and present and discuss, hear your questions to the topic that is related to the climate change. And actually we called it wider as an unfavorable changes in the forest age class structure, so-called poor climate adaptive thinking of forest authorities and decision makers, and best practices related to the pest and disease management. Actually, in our understanding, these 3 subtopics are very much related and are very much connected. In the second block, we will speak about the low level of digitalization and low efficiency of food value chain in forestry and wood-based industries. And there we also will hear several best practices from different countries of Europe. And the third block, which is actually the most important for today, we would like to discuss with you potential interest in those topics that we are going to present you, and we would like to form or identify the interest of different participants today to create teams and to work further on certain topics of your interest. So these are the 3 blocks, and actually more or less 3 hours ahead of us. If we are fast and efficient, we might finish earlier, but if everything goes by the plan, then we are going to work until 16 or 4 p.m. Central European time, or 5 p.m. in Ukraine and Romania. Few words about the Rosewood project, and for this I will try to share my screen. And yeah, before doing that, please, if you have any questions, please use chat. If you have difficulties in hearing or understanding, please also use the chat. My colleagues will help me with identifying and addressing these problems. And I don't think that there is a need now to explain how to use Zoom, because during the 1.5 years of COVID, I think we are all already experts in using Zoom. So yeah, when it comes to the discussion, you are welcome to speak or to ask your questions or write comments in the chat, or raise your hand or tell us that you would like to speak. Important thing that I also would like to mention at the beginning, that we are going to record this presentation, yes, this workshop and the presentations. So yeah, I think we asked about this, and yeah, we will use this recording just for those who were not able to participate today, but would like to know the content and would like to hear the information that we are going to use. So if you don't want to be seen on the screen, just please don't use the camera. Okay, so yeah, we have an information that there might be unstable internet connection, and yeah, I hope that ours is very good. So just few words about the Rosewood project, the one that actually hosts yes, today our event. And let me go full screen. Our project, the full name of the Rosewood project is EU Network of Regions on Sustainable Wood Mobilization Ready for Digitalization. Is actually a 2-year coordination and support action project funded by the European Commission. Can you see changing slides?
Yes.
Yes, that's great. What is important to know about Rosewood? Rosewood focuses on digitalization, and we will repeat this word many times during our today event, and on the knowledge transfer, training, and enabling practitioners to share know-how among foresters of many European countries. To understand what kind of digital solutions do we need, we looked for the gaps in our countries. You will see later on what countries are included. We looked to the problematic fields, and we identified where are those needs and which needs of foresters are to be addressed with digital solutions, not to lag behind of other sectors that are already applying the digital solutions very widely. Within the Rosewood project, we pay a lot of attention to the information and knowledge exchange. And for this, we have selected and collected more than 300 best practices in various fields related to wood mobilization, and as I already said, digitalization that are already applied in European countries, that are on the stage of being tested, or that are projects, research projects like ours to address the needs of foresters. It's important to mention that we, on the Rosewood website that you will see the link to on the last slide, we are creating a knowledge sharing platform where many best practices will be available for your use, not only in English, but also in national languages. Excuse me. It's also important that cooperation is key nowadays, and therefore we appreciate very much to have the possibilities for such events as today, when you from different countries can talk to each other, discuss the needs and look and find for solutions. All this will bring to creating new business opportunities for those who are really interested and see the areas for cooperation and the areas which will demand further support, not only within this project, but also beyond it. Within the project, we have 5 hubs. We call hubs these groups of countries that are connected or grouped regionally, but also have similar development conditions. And actually, you see on the slide the map of these hubs. Right now, we are on the event organized by Central-East Europe Hub, where the members are Poland, Romania, Slovakia, and Ukraine, and we are further working to involve Czech Republic and Hungary. And other hubs, you know, from South East Europe to Southwest, Central West, and Northern Europe. So many countries, a lot of knowledge, a lot of great ideas, and possibility to share them. For us, it is so important to increase the flow of practical information. Theory is important, but practical information is even more important to increase the flow between the foresters of Europe and achieve greater use of the ideas that already exist. On this slide, you will see the website I have mentioned, Rosewood Network EU. And actually, if you go to this website, you will find already many videos, best practices emerging, and materials that you might use in your work. So this is just a few intro words about the Rosewood project. And I also, as we are 30 people, and often we lack this possibility to hear the voices. We don't want to turn this event to some kind of lecturing or one-way information flow event. Therefore, I would like to ask for a very short presentation of the participants. And for this, I would like just you to name your name, even we don't need the surname, and the organization that you present today, so that our participants will have better understanding who is present. And I think for the convenience, I will present all our participants from Forza to make it shorter. And if there are several people from one organization, it is also possible that one person presents the several participants. If you are fine for the moment to switch on your camera so that we can see not only the names and also the faces. Yes, thank you very much. And I will start, meanwhile you are doing this, I will start with Forza. So once again, I'm Lesia Loikov from Forza NGO, who is actually the manager of the Central East European Hub. And today with me, my colleagues Radmila Ustic, Yuri Derbal, Natalia Voloshina, and Kirilo Loiko are present, supporting me with the content and also technically. And now I would like to go to Andrea Shuyokpal.
Yes, hello everyone. My name is Andrea Shuyokpal. I am representing the ProWood Regional Wood Cluster from Romania, from the central region of Romania. And I am here together with my colleague, the cluster manager of ProWood, Mr. Kada Reju.
Thank you very much, Andrea. Andrei Kunka or Kunca?
Hello.
Yes, now we hear you.
Andrej Kunca, National Forest Center, Slovakia. I am working as a plant pathologist for the group of people focusing on forest pests.
Thank you very much. Andrzej Talarczyk. Andrzej, we don't hear you. Yes,
hello,
now.
my internet connection is very bad today. I hope I will be heard. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Andrzej Talarczyk. I'm a research and development director in a Polish company developing IT solutions and new technology solutions in forestry and nature management. And the company is named Taxus IT.
Thank you very much, Andrzej. Angela?
Yes. My name is Ángela García de Arana. I work at TC4 in the southwestern hub of this project of Rosewood 4.0. And we are a consultancy and we give support to forestry companies to develop and create new technologies and digitalization as well, all related to forestry at national and international level. And I work with Lesia and all the other partners, and from my hub today, Susanna also present. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Artur Michorczyk.
Okay, I will hear you. Hear me? Yes, okay. My name is Artur Michalczyk and I'm working in Bureau for Forest Management and Geodesy as the Chief Information Officer. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Artur. Then please, Dmitro Karavchuk, if you have good connection at the moment. Okay. Yes.
Hi, Lesia. Hi, everybody. My name is Dmitro Karavchuk, Dima, and I represent NGO called Forest Initiatives and Communities, Forest.com, and we deal with illegal logging and all other issues that may help to promote sustainable forest use of forest resources. And also he is my colleague, Oleg, who also represents our NGO and will be on stable internet connection from our office. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Dmitro. And then Dubrovna.
Hello, everyone. My name is Dubrovna Augustynai-Wysocka. I'm representing one of the project partners, Łukasiewicz Research Network Wood Technology Institute, and I'm here with my colleague Eva Leszczyszyn, who will also present one of the best practice in the second part of our meeting.
Thank you very much, Dubrovna. Please, Gunnar Hellerström, if that's correct pronunciation.
Hi everyone, my name is Gunnar Hellerström and I do represent Paper Province, one of the project partners in Sweden, the Northern Hub. But today I will also represent the startup and the best practice company Arbo Air, because they do not have the possibility to participate. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Gunnar. Then Krzysztof Sterenchak.
Hello, my name is Krzysztof Sterenchak. I'm from Forest Research Institute. yeah, and I'm interested in working with remote sensing data. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Olena Itani, please. Okay, we go on. Sebastian Tichamer. Okay, Volodymyr Korжов, please.
Я представляю український науковий.
I represent Ukrainian Research Institute of Mountainous Forestry. That is an organization which deals with different scientific issues of forestry in the Carpathian region. It's been working for more than 16 years, and there is also another representative from our institute. There is a senior worker, and there is also Ms. Danilova.
Okay, thank you very much. Then Volodymyr Revutsky, please.
Добрий день.
Good afternoon. I represent a Ukrainian state institution. So we work on different projects related to forestry industry for users and owners of forests. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And also I see that from the same organization, we have our colleague Mykola Rekovets. And yeah. Then Yevhen Bovsunovsky.
Доброго дня всім. Дякую за запрошення.
Good afternoon. Thank you for the invitation to participate in this event. As Mr. Revutsky mentioned, that we represent the same organization and we work mainly with planning and assessment of forestry. Thank you for your attention.
Yevhen Bovsunovsky and Yevhen Maleta, будь ласка. Yeah, please, in any order.
Доброго дня, звати Євген Малета.
Good afternoon, I am Yevhen Maleta. I represent a forestry and we work with forestry management, and that would be forest management, and that would be interest for us to learn more about practices of our neighbors. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I am head of the Department of Advanced Information Technology in Ukrainian Research Institute of Forestry and Forestry Melioration. We also researches mobile software development, web development, and the GIS environment. Thanks.
Please, Sebastian Tichomir. Sebastian Tichomir.
Tichomir is a researcher within our cluster, so he has a PhD in territorial development, and he is currently working as an expert with us in research projects and activities.
Thank you very much. Is anyone there whom I didn't name?
I think that Mr. Bovsunovsky didn't introduce himself.
Yeah, but somehow I think.
Пане Бовсуновський, ви можете представитися?
Mr. Bovsunovsky, could you please introduce yourself? Good afternoon. I am Yevhen Bovsunovsky. I'm an expert of National Ecological Center of Ukraine. I work at the Department of Ecology of the National Aviation University, and I mostly work on green plantations in cities and digitalization, of course.
Thank you very much. So we take, I think, if I didn't, yes, if anyone who was not given floor to or didn't have a possibility to introduce, please write in the chat. We will see your name, and It takes some time for us to introduce, to go through this round of introduction, but I think it's important that people know the names and the faces. Yes, we have Olena Itani, so maybe not everyone has possibility to speak. The State Enterprise Forestry Innovative Research Center, she represents Elena Itani, this organization. So with this, I think it's just high time to go through the best practices that were selected today to speak about. And those best practices, as I mentioned at the beginning, will help us, or at least give us some hints to connect or to cover the gaps that were identified within our Eastern European hub. And the first one is the climate change and pest disease and related topics. So with this, I would like to give the floor to Mr. Andrei Kunța from National Forest Center, who will present you the first best practice called ELOS in short, or if we tell the full name, it's an electronic tool for communication with practical foresters. And Andrei, we will give you the right to share your screen, but if things that do not work, we have the presentations, and just tell us what shall we run or what shall we start with. Yes, we can see your presentation. Yes, it's full screen. Please go ahead. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much for the opportunity to present our work. I am a researcher at the National Forest Center Forest Research Institute, working in Banská Štiavnica, Central Europe. We are doing research half time, and the second half is services for foresters. It means advisory service on pest agents and control measurements. And we are communicating with foresters pretty much, and sometimes the communication is very difficult. Our communication regards pesticides, pest agents determination, control methods in forest protection, online tests for foresters and students on forest pests and forest protection. We organize annual conference on forest health, and there are altogether at present 12 modules which look like this. It is situated at the web page www.e-los.sk. LOS means Lesnická ochranárska služba Forest Protection Service, and E as electronic tool. So these modules are adding to this whole system continually. Once we have some problems, we try to solve this, and I will show you what communication channels we made between us and foresters. So first, several years ago, we decided to build the pesticides model. This was built because foresters are obliged to send annual reports on pesticide usage, and they send it to us, to Banská Štiavnica, and we summarized all this information and then send statistics to Ministry of Agriculture to show what is the situation with pesticides usage in forestry. But often it happened that Roundup Be Active, which is official name of the herbicides, was written like Roundup, and other Roundup Be Active, and many different letters are used in this official name, and it was a problem for us. We have 10,000 reports, and we hire students who were writing these data from paper sheets to computer or something like this. and we had not exact information on this way. Another problems with this was, for example, there was municipal forest of Bratislava City Limited, and on the sheet of paper there was written just municipal forest or Bratislava municipal forest or many different versions, and from year to year we had new subjects, although it was still the same. They were using units to, for example, Roundup bioactive is a liquid and the units used are liters, but they didn't have problems to write down the kilograms or any other things. So now a video for foresters how to use electronic tool to get rid of all mistakes we had at the time. So at the web page, the www.elos.sk, first fields regard the guide.
Andrei, wait a second. Do you want us to run the video, or you will run because we don't see the video now?
You don't see video?
No.
What to do with this?
Yeah, maybe stop sharing and then, yeah, or try again, once again.
Is it better?
No, I think you need to stop sharing and then select the video and start to share again. Stop sharing the screen of presentation.
Yeah, I already stopped it. No?
No, not for me. Yeah, now, yes.
And?
So now choose the video and start sharing the video.
Wait.
Yes, now we see your screen.
It's okay. I try to find where it is. Can you see it?
Not yet. We see it still that you need to go to the video and start sharing the video. We still see your screen.
I don't know how to do that.
Okay, maybe let's then. Which video would you like? Pripravki?
Pesticides.
Pesticides, okay.
Pripravki 2021. Pripravki.
Pripravki or Škocovia?
Pripravki.
Okay, pripravki. Yeah, sorry everybody for this little technical thing.
It's going on.
Yes, please. Do you want to comment?
Yeah, I see it. Okay, that's good. So first steps, the guy who is filling up the report have to write down his name, where he comes from, email, and this is the next. It's in Slovak because it's for Slovak foresters. And then they add some pesticides. They choose from the list where all pesticides which are registered in Slovakia are already written in proper name. And then they write down the amount of the usage at certain day, at certain year. And then they can see the report, which is official report from the law, how it looked like. And finally, yeah, they can edit it. If there is some mistake. And finally, they submit the whole report. They can add many pesticides, as many as they can. And they get the PDF file with the day and hour when they submitted it, and they fulfill their official obligations to submit this report, how many pesticides they spent last year. So this is the first video I wanted to show you.
If you want to show anything else, just tell us, we will show it for you.
Okay, I want to share the next stage. Yeah. Can you see it?
Yes.
There is also, we published a lot of, no, not a lot of, some atlas of biotic pest agents. Some of them were published in France or in Germany. And we transfer this paper, the atlases, into electronic version. And this electronic version can be seen at the web page www.scottsdrevinsk is also for Slovak foresters. And now I would like to share the video which has the name Škodcovia drevín.
We will do it for you.
Yeah, I'm waiting for it.
Okay.
So, in the Google, you can press Škodcovia drevín. This is our web page. It's about fungi and insects in forests. There are more than 400 pests of forests on pictures and some descriptions. You can filter by Slovak names, and in the next row there is the letters for the Latin names of pest agents. You can filter by insects or then fungi, invasive species, very short description, again in Slovak, many pictures, some detailed description. You can look for your proper pests or for the pests you want to see. There is also some videos on which were created in Banská Štiavnica by my colleagues. There are some dots in the map where they were found in Slovakia, and you can ask for determination of the pests from the picture. So you have to take a picture, upload it from your computer. This is from computer, you upload it here and send it to us. Need some information, who it was, email, so he get the answer to his email box. Short description. Yeah. You can see the queries from other people who were asking what's going on in their gardens, in their forest. Many people ask for determination, and mostly not foresters, people from municipalities or just tourists there. So this is, we create also mobile application for, about this atlas and the identification of pest agents. And it was just 1 year. We have about 1,000 queries. So it starts to be known in Slovak forest. And I will try to, I would like to ask you for the last video of my presentation, which is a EIOL video. Can you share this video, please? Ah, yeah. And the last video regards pest management. We all the time we talk about the determination and what it is, but what to do is very important for the owner of the forest or owner of the tree. And we wanted to sort all these pest management measurements and to show the people how they are important. So chemical, biological, mechanical, no measurements. This web page is very simple. Just introduction, measurements, pests, measurements, mechanical, tree traps, bark trap, and debarking, different chipping, and how many pests are attached to these measurements. For example, chipping, there are 15 pests which have chipping of wood as the convenient tool to get rid of these pests. So it works also vice versa. You find a pest, like Scilosandrus germanus, and you can find, description again. And here at the bottom of the page, there are some structural measurements, what to do against it. So pheromone traps, and if you press it, you will get some information on pheromone traps, and you get known that 9 pests have pheromone traps in their measurements of forest protection. You can look for anything at these web pages. Which is Hymenocyphus, Fraxineus, and the same structure. And we are connected with another atlas we are having. I presented this Scotsavia Drevin, and there are also mapping of this pest agent. So you can check some videos from our production at the YouTube. And also we have Facebook page where we inform foresters or who wants to see our information on what's going on in forest protection these days.
Yes, thank you very much, Andrei. It took us a bit longer than we planned, but it was important to see all these constituents or all these sub parts of.
Video is at the end, so you can stop it. It's not important.
Yes, thank you very much. Actually, we have the email itself, and yeah, many colleagues from especially Western region of Ukraine, they can understand Slovakian, or if not, but at least to see the structure of this web resource and yes, see how it works for details. Thank you very much once again, Andrei. And if there are questions, I ask colleagues to keep them to the end of this block. And with this, I would like to go to the next best practice we have planned today for this first part of the program. And in short, it is called HOMED. And if we say the full name, it's a best practice of holistic management of emerging forest pests and disease. And I would like to invite Angela Garcia de Arana from CESE4. She introduced herself at the beginning to present this best practice. And Angela, you please try to share your screen, and if it doesn't work, we will do that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Yes, I'm working CESE4 in Spain, and it is a French practice that I will present today. And because our colleagues couldn't do it today, and also the project coordinator of this HOMED, but in case you have any questions, I will be in contact, and everything is on the website, very detailed as well, but I will try to explain it the best possible I can.
Thank you.
So, do you see my screen?
In a moment, yes. And if you can go full screen, that will be perfect.
Okay. Okay, does it work?
Yes, yes, please.
Okay, great. Thank you. So, okay, do you see it? Yes? Okay,
yes,
so
we do. Yes, we do.
Thank you. Okay, so as Lesia said, HOMED is a holistic management of emerging forest pests and diseases. And it is adopting a multi-actor approach, and it aims to develop a full panel of scientific knowledge and practical solutions of the management these emerging native and non-native pests and diseases threatening European forests. So it is considered in a broad way and how to solve this problem that is happening in many places in Europe, but not only in Europe. You will see now that this project is done at international level, and it is a project where different partners from all different type of specialties have gathered to do the best, to achieve the best result for this project. So here you can see that many countries participate in the project. Do you see countries from United States, China, several countries in Europe, South Africa, New Zealand, Australia. So here you can see all the countries and entities that participate. And the coordinator is the National Institute of Research for Agriculture, Food and Environment of France. So in total, 22 partners, if I'm not mistaken. And here you see that this European project is a Horizon 2020 project based on research. There you see the budget, and also that it began in October 2018 and it will finish in September next year. So this project begins to solve this non-native pests and diseases pathogens that is threatening forests everywhere, mainly in Europe, and studying it in Europe. And because it is so important, because 40% of the total land area in Europe is covered by forest, and it is goods and services to benefit people. So summarizing the project, you can see that there are 8 work packages. So as I said before, it is based on research. So there are some work packages first. Number one, and for engagement of all actors. So the first work package is based to approach it from a multi-actor perspective. So that it is bi-directional between scientists and stakeholders. Then work package 2 for a comprehensive risk analysis. It will develop a generic and comprehensive modeling framework to assess the risk emergence or invasions of these forest pests and pathogens. And it will develop a new generation of generic models to simulate and risk management options. Then work package 3, it is about prevention and detection tools to identify and gather all the knowledge and tools that will be used. Number 4, surveillance and delimitation tools. It will be based in 2 objectives, landscape and stand tree level. And it will create new technologies based on remote sensing, drones, and multi-lure trapping of pests. Then work package 5 is eradication containment tools to improve methods that will be cost-effective and environmentally friendly. Then control tools to improve increase the effectiveness of biopesticides and other tools that are used for eradication. Then dissemination, which is a very important part of the project, so that this knowledge is shared between stakeholders as well, and not only scientists. And then, of course, as every project, the project management. So here you can see a good graphic that explains in a simple way the relation of all these work packages, so that, as I said, all the information is shared and wisely used. And at scientific level, you can see that what I mentioned before, that the understanding of this problem, so that the best techniques can be used and the best result will be achieved. So new technologies will be used, but it is based in a very scientific research and way to approach it, but also always with this contact, a very close contact with stakeholders and forest owners to understand and identify very well the key criteria and the problem of the project. And at technological level, it will adopt and use next generation sequencing data, new devices for detection and surveillance with multi-sensor, for example. It will also use artificial intelligence tools to analyze images for these pests and pathogens, symptoms on trees. And it will be used as smartphone application so that people can identify and share this knowledge and register, so that it can be this information used on scientific level to create all the information tools for people to work with it. Remote sensing strategies, integrated pest and pathogens eradication strategies, and also a see and spray method for pest and pathogens control at individual tree, as you can see there, with multi-sensor algorithms and decision makers and the sprayers of biopesticides. So it is based on research, and many different tools will be created so that it can be used, and this problem of pests and pathogens invading forests can be controlled from the beginning, because the main objective of this project is to notice and control it from the beginning, to try to see these invasors at the beginning point of the problem. So also HOMED, the project, will give recommendations, and it will create a generic decision support system so that people can use it and see how to solve the problem they have with this information that the project offers. And this multi-criteria decision support system will be available at the web. so that people can easily register and write the information they have or the problem they have, and then immediately you receive an answer of the best control or the best work they can do in the forest to solve this problem. So here you can see it summarized. And actually this information, this brochure and everything, you can find it on the website. It's very clear, all the information is included, and there are some videos as well, and all the papers they have already created. And as this project is not still finished, you will find some papers published on the web, and then all the technological tools will come soon at the end of the project. So here you can see that this project, they have already released some policy briefs, as they have called them, with the first research results summarized in an easier way to understand, and all these papers, very important papers that have been developed in the project. So, sorry, the first one, it is called How Can Surveillance of Invasive Alien Pests and Pathogens Prevent 3 Pandemics? Then the second one is Fostering Collaboration Between Pathologists and Entomologists for Better Management of Forest Pests and Pathogen Invasion. And then Tree Diversity and Forest Resistance to Insect Pests, Prospects for Forest Pest Management. And so the project coordinator of HOMED is Hervé Jactel of the French National Institute for Agriculture and Research, INRA. And this is his email for further information that you may need. And of course, you can contact Lesha or me through Lesha for any other information you want. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Angela, for presenting this very interesting and actually going to a new level best practice, because, you know, now this intelligence and involvement of political, scientific and practical issues to speak about pests and disease, invasive species, I think it's very important. Thank you very much. And now I would like to go to our, to our third best practice and give the floor to present the best practice called Arbo Air from Northern Hub, and the word to Gunnar Hellerström from Paper Province. And would you like, Gunnar, us to immediately go to the video, or how do you plan?
No, I think I'll just briefly introduce that first. I'm very glad to be here to present the best practice Arbo Air for all of you. And the representatives for the company cannot be here, unfortunately. They have a session with a venture capital firm because they are a small startup and they are growing, so they need to finance the company. So that is what they are focusing on right now. But they are member companies of us at Paper Province, and we work quite closely to them, and I will try to explain what it's all about and answer questions later. And as we have heard, problems with pests, and in this specific case, bark beetle infestation is quite large in the Scandinavian countries and in Europe as a whole. And that is what Arbo Air focus on. This is all about picture analysis and AI and analysis of high resolution pictures from different sources. So please run the video and I will get back to you with questions later.
Thank you. Yeah, just a second. We are just starting the video. Once again with the sound, so there was a problem with the sound.
De senaste åren då så har ju skadeangreppen av framförallt granbarkborrar ökat markant, vilket är ju ett gissel för oss skogsägare.
Man räknar med att mellan 3 och 4 miljarder kronor har det kostat svenska skogsindustrin i virkesvärdesförluster. Och då är det i Sverige jämfört med andra länder ett ganska litet problem. Vi är ett bildanalysföretag, så vi analyserar främst drönarbilder för att hitta skogsskador i granskog. Och då går det till så att drönarplåtningen, antingen om det är skogsägaren eller om det är någon genom oss på RBR eller våra partners, åker ut till skogsfastigheten, flyger området, samlar in data, laddar upp det i vår webbportal och sen efter några minuter så har man ett resultat färdigt i webbportalen. Man kan ta och skicka in filen i telefonen, gå ut i skogen och se hur det ser ut ute i fält om man vill. Det går att ladda ner en fil för att skicka in i en skördardator bara för att åka ut och ta ner skogen. Ja, den där. Den är inte så gammal då.
Jag har inte detaljkartan. Men jag tror i alla fall. De 2 största fördelarna för mig som skogsägare att få hjälp av RBR med den här tekniken är ju dels tidsvinsten. Normalt sett så går man ut och letar själv okulärt från träd till träd och letar efter angrepp i skogen, och det tar ju en himla tid. Har man lite större arealer är det ju nästan till omöjligt att göra det dessutom. Och den andra stora fördelen är ju att jag får en precision i var angreppen finns. Jag får en information om att här har du angreppen. Jag kan gå dit direkt och även förmedla den informationen vidare till den som ska hjälpa mig att ta bort träden ur skogen. Så tidsvinst och precision.
Granbarkborrarna går in i de träden som vi egentligen vill använda till att bygga hus, till att göra specialvirke. Och det som händer är att när de träden dör och det inte går att använda trädet tänkt, så förkortar vi den livscykeln, vilket innebär att vi snabbare släpper ut koldioxid i atmosfären. Bästa sättet att få bukt på det här problemet, det är att se till att vi minskar andelen granbarkborrar. Och då handlar det om att barka dem när ynglen fortfarande är små och inte överlever utan barkens skydd.
Alltså granbarkborrens livscykel är ju mellan 8-10 veckor någonstans tar processen. Och det är under den tiden då som man ska hitta och få ut trädet ur skogen och till industri för att minimera skadorna på kvarstående skog. Och då hjälper ju RBR mig i och med att man får snabbare information och jag kan agera snabbare och förhoppningsvis få hjälp snabbare. En annan fördel är ju att om man inte bor på orten nära sin skog så kan man ändå ha koll på sin skog och vara aktiv i brukandet. Naturligtvis får man ju ta hjälp av de som bor på orten då, vilket ju också ger arbetstillfällen på orten och bidrar till en levande landsbygd.
När det gäller bildanalys i skogen, det kommer bli mycket, mycket vanligare. Det kommer att bli en standard i stort sett för att få ett bättre register över sin skog egentligen och sitt innehav.
Alltså det har varit många sömnlösa nätter på grund av granbarkborrarna kan jag säga. Jag vaknar ibland på nätterna och tycker det är jättejobbigt. För jag bryr mig om min skog, jag vill bruka den så att den mår bra. Så att, jag tycker det här är ett stort problem och jag får väldigt bra hjälp av den här nya tekniken.
Thank you very much. And I think that it's quite illuminating and it describes their both technical solution and their business quite well. But of course, I will stay to answer your questions as well as I can later in the Q&A session. Mm-hmm. So that was all for RBR.
Yes, thank you very much, Gunnar. And actually, just to remind you, we have heard now in these blogs 3 best practices One is a web-based resource from Slovakia called ELOS, where the people, the foresters, just ordinary people can find a lot of information about the pests, disease, invasive species. The second one was from France, HOMED, Holistic Management of Emerging Forest Pests and Diseases project, actually a Horizon 2020 project that goes even one step further, proposes a decision support system and even speaks about possible 3 pandemics because of different non-native pests and diseases and invasive species. And the third one was a startup that uses drones to detect the bark beetle coming from Norway, I guess. Is it Norway?
Sweden, actually.
Oh, Sweden. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Yes, comes from Sweden. And just to close this block, it's another best practice, but it will be not a full presentation. We would like to show you digital solution from Finland called Virtual Forest 2.0. This will be a 3-minute video. And we just use this opportunity because we have made the subtitles in Ukrainian so that the Ukrainian speaking people can also fully understand the content of this video. Just to close this block, and then we go to questions and answer session. Thank you, Kirill. Start, please.
Nowadays, many forest owners live in cities. For many people, forestry might not be the main source of income, and therefore, people don't always have time to visit their forest with a forestry professional. In this kind of situations, virtual forest is the solution. Virtual forest is based on forest data and other geographic information data. Forest data includes the description of trees and soil, and other geographic information data includes the description of ground elevation, roads, rivers, and other that kind of obstacles. All data that is used in virtual forest is easy to acquire. You can download your property's forest data, for example, from metsä.fi, and other geographic information data can be downloaded from National Land Survey of Finland. Forest management operations affect the landscape. By using virtual forest, forest owner can try different alternatives to be used as logging method and evaluate the effects before final decision. Virtual forest is an excellent tool to be used in education. After forest management simulations, it is possible to choose the best option, continue learning in real environment by executing the chosen operation as planned.
I think this virtual forest application is very handy. I'm able to visit my forest from my own home, and I feel this application is very suitable for forest owners who are not so familiar with the forest or may not be able to visit on the site very often. This application is quite nice to use, and it's available for everybody with instructions. I can move around the forest by foot or in the air, and when you are going in the air, it's really nice to see your forest from different perspectives. I feel this kind of new innovation activate forest owners to take care of their forest. With this application, it's possible to compare different kind of forest management options and see the landscape effects.
Virtual forest is a useful tool for forest owners, students, and anyone who is interested in forestry. Virtual forest is free to use for everyone.
Yes, thank you. So this was the last best practice for this block. You might think that, it's just for forest owners, but I think generally to see how certain services might be digitalized and provide some information for persons not leaving the office about the forest. I think it's important to know not only for private forest owners, but generally also for the state foresters. With this, I would like to open the floor up for the questions and answers to the 3 best practices we have heard about: the e-laws, the HOMED, and the Arbo Air from different parts of Europe. So please take this opportunity to learn more about the details of these best practices. Yeah, until you think, I would like to ask the first about the first best practice from Slovakia, Andrej Kunca. So for how long do you have this this resource available, and how would you tell what's the main aim of it in one sentence, let's say?
We are developing this system, let's say, for 5 years. We have just one information technique who is able to program databases, and we want to add as many models as we can about game management, about drone mapping the situation, like we could see on the last and previous presentations. And finally, we want the foresters to log into our e-laws system, and once he is logged in, we know about his company, his identification number, his phone, email, and if he is logged in, he can ask any questions, and we know where he asks, from where he is asking, where we should respond. If he is going to conference, we know where to send the invoice for his services. So we want to make a communication system between us and foresters in one big system containing many models. So it's a long way.
Thank you very much. And I think also for users, it's very handy to have all possible types of information in one place, as you said, so one should not search here for pests, there for, I don't know, invasive species, but actually can have concentrated information just in, let's say, in one click from one web resource. Any other questions? Yeah, please go ahead. You can use the chat box, and also you can use just to ask questions about other best practices as well. Angela said that if any questions come to HOMED, then yeah, we can address to the best practice owner and come back to you with an answer if it's if you require some details. Volodymyr, would you like to ask a question?
Yes, я маю запитання до пана Анджея.
Yes, I have a question that I wanted to address to Andrej, and I had the pleasure to visit his office, and I really know what is the equipment that they use, and I know that they are a very serious institution in the locality which he represents, but I'm also interested in the following fact. What about the funding for maintenance of such a serious agency? So what about the funding practices which are applied in your case?
These e-laws haven't got any serious funding. We were building this just for fun and for make our work a bit easier. So we haven't got special funding. And in general, we pay all this system as a big money or some money from Ministry of Agriculture, which cover all services of the forest research to foresters. Not only this electronic system, but also going to the forest, inspection the forest pests, and communication with Ministry of Agriculture, and writing reports and so on. So this is a part of the money coming from Ministry of Agriculture, but not especially for this program which we are building. Do you understand?
Yes, thank you very much, Andrei, for your answer. And any other questions?
Thank you. It was great. It was great to see you.
Yeah, good to see you.
Okay, I don't see any questions in the chat. So yeah, I may say that we would like to also to make the subtitles for the Arbo Air best practice in Ukrainian, and it will be also available on our Forza's YouTube channel and also on the Rosewood website. So with this, thank you very much, the first three presenter, Andrei, Angela, and Gustav for Gunnar for presenting the best practices. And if you are interested, please stay with us further on. If not, we value very much your time, and yes, thanks once again. With this, I would like to make a 5-minute break so that you can grab a cup of coffee, and yes, come back to us in 5 minutes, which will be 14:25 in Central European, or 15:25 in Romania and Ukraine. Thank you very much. Progress with the second block of our presentations, and with the 4 planned best practices, we would like to address the gap that was identified within our hub. Just to remind you that our hub consists of Ukraine, Slovakia, Romania, and Poland. And for all of these countries, we still feel lack of level of digitalization, and we feel low efficiency of wood value chain in forestry and wood-based industries. So with the next 4 best practices, we would like to show you good examples how these issues or how this problem is addressed within other hubs. So first, I would like to invite Mr. Friedrich Förstner from Germany to present the best practice AYA. And thank you very much for joining, because yeah, or can you hear us well, Friedrich?
Yes, I can hear you well. Thank you very much for the introduction.
Okay, thank you very much, and the floor is yours. If you would like to share your screen, please go ahead.
I will try that, yeah.
Yes, we can see.
Okay. And also the second slide, yeah, or?
Yes, also the second.
All right, perfect.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much for giving me the time to speak here. We are a startup located in Germany and France, and we're working on natural ecosystem intelligence. That implies that we are supplying information for decision makers, and that can be from foresters to governments, to drive better decisions for the management of ecosystems, for the protection of ecosystems, and for the proliferation of ecosystems. And our goal is to do that in a holistic way, using the Industry 4.0 technologies like IoT, like artificial intelligence, and like data science. And I would like to give you a little bit background, like why or where we're coming from. And if you look at this graph, yeah, we're currently still, hopefully in the end of a pandemic, and that also shadowed a few other issues that are coming up. When we're talking about recession that might hit our economy soon, but the climate change and actually the biodiversity collapse are the bigger issues that are in front of us, and they are huge. And what we realized as data scientists is that often the data to understand these crises and to also bring them to decision makers is currently not giving. And for us, the ecosystems are one of the key players, especially for climate change and biodiversity, that needs to be protected. And so for us, it all starts with understanding where we are, and especially the ecological ceiling. You might have seen this picture from Kate.
Nie wiem, może jednak zastanawiam się, czy może ten ibuprofen wezmę.
And that means quantifying, especially the ecosystems and their roles and their state as well. And we want to do that, as I mentioned, quite holistically. That means understanding parameters of biodiversity that you see in the lower part. You see forest growth and health. That also gives us building material. We're talking about soil quality. We have huge issues with soil, not only in agriculture, but also when you look at forest soil. And we talk about microclimates that has a direct impact on us, on our human beings, often in our urban ecosystems and cities, but overall also, when you think about recreation and things like that in the forest, that have a massive impact on life quality. So for us, we wanted to quantify as much as possible these different factors that have impact on our ecosystems. And for that, we have established a platform, basically a natural ecosystem intelligence platform, where we try to integrate information from different sources using the state-of-the-art technologies, from 5G to IoT. We use solar power. We are leveraging artificial intelligence to integrate data, and we're also using data federations in order to basically give data privacy also to the different partners that we have. So this is basically the platform that allows us to extract data from ecosystems, process them, and then deliver them. In the top part, you see that in dashboards, reports, and APIs. And we're not done with everything yet. Yeah, we have established networks that I will show you later on. But overall, it's about the establishment of this platform that allows our partners to get the right information at the right time. Now, at its core, what we realize is that there just wasn't the right tool chain available to get the right data. You hear a lot about satellites. You've seen drones already here in the presentations, and they are essential for some of the information, especially structural information, to give us more details. We heard a little bit also about more detailed analytics in terms of understanding bark beetle infestations and so on. But what we believe is that in situ measurements are crucial for some of the important parameters. And that includes also biodiversity, which we see as one of the key things that we need to protect in the next decades. And for that, a lot of the parameters you can only measure when you're really locally there, when you're locally measuring data. So also to predict, to analyze, and to understand the state of the forest, you just need to be present there. And now I think the forest is doing an amazing job in doing so. It's just a huge task. And some of the things we can support with automated tooling. And this board that we're presenting here, for example, is one of the key pieces that we believe will allow us to create healthier forests and to protect those forests for the various parameters. And you can see an example how these dashboards look like. So if you go to the different parameters, you see microclimate and soil we're looking into ambient light and growth of the forest, wind and motion, and then also bioacoustics. This is from the deployment site in Germany, where we deployed on a smaller plot quite a big load of sensors that also give us a scientific view on what is going on in those forests. And from there on, we can basically extract key pieces that can influence the management. For example, what is the biodiversity level that we have in there right now? We measure that, for example, with microphones. We measure the birds, how they are waking up over time, how do the populations develop over time. And we can do that over several years. That was one of the key parameters as well, where we developed our own hardware, was that we can not only do a small experiment over, let's say, one growth season, but long-term monitoring over several years, and eventually even through over a decade. because only then you can actually see also the impact of your management on the forest, on the ecosystems, and broadening, your perspective as well on like what can you do to not only get have impact on the forest output in terms of wood, but overall also on the other ecosystem services that are coming out of that forest. So our main application is really close to nature forestry, but we're also working on regenerative agriculture, so including also forests and forest gardens in there, especially for the regeneration of soil. And we're also currently in conversations with cities, because also those need to better manage their parks, but also bring in more green elements in their in the urban environments. And so one project, for example, that we had in France and in Germany, actually with 3 in totals here now, that looked into the biodiversity monitoring in conserved areas. And they basically looked in the development. So what you can see on the right side here, for example, are the morning and midday songs from the birds. And you can see overall the development and the differences also in the different plot sites. Another project that I mentioned before was actually the quantification of different management styles in Germany. So these are in total like 20 networks that we deployed in an area and with very different management styles. And now our partners are interested in to understand what is the difference actually of the management styles, what kind of impact do they have, and then also what is the context. For example, in this picture you can also see there is a train rail next to the to this forest plot, and the question was like, what kind of impact does it also have on the biodiversity? And these kind of things, this is something we're currently exploring with our partners here. And you can see also then the various measurements that we're actually taking from light to sound to soil measurements as well, and also the movement of the trees and things like that. And we are quantifying several parameters. And what we're currently working on is basically condensing these parameters to make them more accessible also to the foresters. We have scientific projects and they are more the raw data is very important to our customers, but we basically also want to supply very condensed parameters that tell the foresters, this is happening in your forest right now, and this is the trajectory that we're seeing, and what is the response that you can have in this area. And when, especially with things like the bark beetle, you would like to have also prediction if something is wrong, if it's too dry, and what you can do basically about that as well. So I don't want to make too much advertising here, to be honest, but overall, our advantage is that we give quite accurate measurements on in situ data. It's a scalable and affordable solution. So we leveraging the Internet of Things technologies and try to keep the cost low overall, also the maintenance costs. And we would like to integrate that into other solutions that are already out there in the digitalization space. So we have open APIs to access the data. And important also is for us that you can extend that with other sensing technologies and make it actionable from the start on. And especially compared to satellites and drones, we're able to create a higher resolution, also predicting things a bit earlier from what we have seen so far, and then also measuring things like biodiversity that is just hard to measure from the air. And again, nothing against those other technologies. They're complementary, and we're using them as well, of course. But we can go in some areas beyond that, and in the manual collection or scientific stations, for example, we can be much cheaper and more accessible, especially for forest management. Okay, this is us, our team, and I think I'm happy for questions as well, to answer questions if there are.
Yes, thank you very much, Friedrich. For me, it looks as a huge effort and with a huge impact, but I'm also interested, for details. Maybe our participants will ask some questions later on.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Sorry, yeah, I would like to, Friedrich, the questions will come in a block. Is that okay with you?
Sounds good. Yeah, perfect. I will be there.
Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
And now I would like to give the floor to Susana Barreiro. Susana, we didn't forget to introduce you in the first part, because Angela just told that my colleague Susana is also here with us. So
shall I share my screen?
Yes, please do. And if it doesn't work, then we will share. Susana from the Forest Research Center, Portugal, will present the SADFLOR best practice. And yeah, we don't see yet your screen.
Yeah, but
yes,
you will now.
Yes.
Do you see it now?
And full screen will be perfect. So
yeah,
just try to change the slide. Next slide. Yeah, just to see if it works. Yes, perfect. So the floor is yours. Thank you very much, Susan.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. So like I've been introduced just recently, my name is Susana. I come from the Forest Research Center at the University of Lisbon. I teach there, and I'm part of the Rosewood project, as a member of the Southwestern Hub, and I work with Angela. And I was invited to be here today to present a best practice for which I am not responsible. So the same as Angela, if you have questions, I will try to answer. But if not, I recommend you to contact the best practice owner. So the best practice is SADFLOR, web-based forest and natural resources decision support tool. The tool, like I mentioned, was developed in my research center, but I'm only involved in it to a certain point, and I will explain what I mean by this. So what motivated the development of this tool? In the research group, we've put a lot of effort from the beginning in collecting data for characterizing forest stands, and we started developing growth and yield models. And then we felt the need to implement all these growth and yield models and develop decision support systems that could assist forest managers in taking decisions. So the SADFLOR was not something developed under the scope of a single project. It was developed under the scope of many projects that we've been having in the research group. The idea is to have a Windows, let me check, Windows graphical user interface. That's what this means. That's what they've used for the development of the whole tool. And it has been programmed in many different languages, like you can see here. And the idea was to, in the end, create a multi-criteria spatial decision support system that was built based on a web-based architecture. So for you to have an idea, the tool has been being developed because this is a still ongoing process. So once the user logs in, can you see my mouse moving?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So when the user logs in, this is the look of the first page. There is a web GIS system. You can see some maps here, and all the information that characterizes all the inputs required by the forest growth simulator and the decision making are stored in a database. So this was the concept of the tool, having everything of our forest management units stored in a database. We would run the simulations then, the growth simulations, and we would optimize these. This would allow us to visualize the results, and then the user, the forest manager, could make his decisions based on the simulation of growth and the optimization of the simulations that had been carried out. The tool was developed with the support of the forest services, forest industry people, non-governmental organizations, as well as forest owners. A lot of workshops have been organized where people can try the tool and give their feedback regarding the tool. So some details about the geographical information. It uses KML files where the management areas are characterized. considering the use of these created using Google Fusion Tables application. And then these files use a tag-based structure with nested elements and attributes that is based on the XML standard. And as you can see here, most of the things are probably in Portuguese, but it allows when the user loads one particular area that has been included in the database, he can see the description of this area, and in the description, it contains information about the soil type, the land use, soil classification, administrative information, the area, the shape, the coordinates to the location of the area, and the dominant and not dominated tree species. So having the area described there, the inputs are to the stand simulator are provided based on this information contained in the database, and the simulator that is coupled with the decision support system is called StandSims. It's a management-driven simulator, and it allows the prediction of growth for existing stands, those that you have described in the database, or new plantations. It's up to the user what he wants to run simulations for and optimize results. So the module for growth in this simulator is composed of a set of species-specific growth models. Most of them are empirical, and these growth models are specific for Portugal because the tool has been developed for Portugal. So it includes models for the most relevant in terms of economic impact tree species in Portugal. There's only one species for which we have a process-based model included, which is eucalyptus. And then this set of species-specific growth models updates the resources on an annual time step, defining, the user is also asked to define the management approaches. And by these, I mean, the user is asked to specify each individual forest management or silvicultural operation throughout all the simulation period. And associated to each of these forest management operations that are listed or selected by the user, there's economic data, the costs for each of these operations, and together with the revenues obtained when the stands are harvested or thinned, we are able to perform an economic analysis with the economic model included in the simulator. And once the simulations are run for the whole planning horizon, it produces a wide range of environmental, economic, and social indicators. That is, there's a description of all these, how these things interact with each other. And you see that once all the inputs in blue have been provided to the simulator here in the center, the simulations run, and the outputs of these simulations are then the inputs to the decision support system. So the forest management, by defining the forest management approaches and the management prescriptions along time, the user is given the possibility to change species, change management over time, whatever he wants to do. So the tool that runs the simulations for growth is quite flexible. Then the decision-making process, the user is asked to define the mathematical problem. So it defines the optimization that he wants to carry out. And by these, you have a print of this part of the tool. So you can see how you parameterize your decision problem. You define your planning horizon, the number of periods that you want to consider, the discount rate, and then you have to provide some information about the tree species. As you can see here, you can choose whether to maximize timber, you are also allowed to define the maximum flow deviation that you want to consider for pulpwood. You may decide in this example that you don't want a decreasing flow of chestnut wood throughout the planning horizon. So you define these amounts, and then you run the simulations. In terms of results, these are made available both in table, maps, and charts. I'm going to go back so you can take a look. This is not the same example as I've shown you in the previous slide. You had only 5 periods in the parameterization of the problem in the previous slide, but this is just to give you an idea. If you considered 9 periods for the optimization, you would end up with information for each of the periods for volume by the end, by the harvest age, the harvested volume, the thinned volume, the timber volume, and then the stock. These are some possible results that you could obtain after applying the optimization of your problem. So again, you have here this allows you to take some kind of a photograph of the simulations for a particular year and to visualize in the map where how the different age classes, for example, are distributed for pine and chestnut and for eucalyptus here in the bottom in your management unit area. So you also have information on charts. You can see the area by the end of the 90 years period by age classes and tree species. You can see the total timber and by period. These 9, what you see in the x-axis are the periods considered in this example that I'm showing you results for. And you have information on harvested volume and thinned final harvest volume in blue and thinned volume in red. And then there's a harvest, an average for the harvested volume. And then you're provided also with a visualization of the Pareto frontiers that allows you to make multi-criteria decision choices. So, as I told you, I'm not the owner of the best practice. I've not been involved in the decision support system development. So I have some recommended literature for you. The tool has been used in different research works that have been done. Some of them have already been published, as you can see here. And for further information or details about how the decision support system works, you can find the details here, and the contact email is José Borges, a colleague of mine. And if you are interested, I can provide you the link to access SADFLOR. And if you have issues, then you would have to contact him, because this is as much as I can give you.
Yeah,
thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Susanna. It's a very, very impressive decision support tool with many parameters. And now, listening to these 2 best practices, you know, in my let's say in my mind previously, if let's say a forester would like to take a decision, yes, or a forest owner or the director of a forest enterprise, he calls for chief forester and some foresters, so they discuss using the available, let's say, paper maps and information. Now the things are really so rapidly changing. For you, it's enough to enter the information, enter your request, and the system will support you with simulation and recommendations. Yeah, very much impressive, and thank you for these 2 best practices. Now we would like the focus will still remain with the forest, but will a bit turn to the side of let's say building with wood, because it's this gap that we are talking about. It's not about only the low level of digitalization, but also need in improving in the wood value chain system, including the wood-based industries. So now I would like to give the floor to Mircea Tăgărceanu from Brașov Metropolitan Agency for Sustainable Development to present the project, because it's a project of collaboration of different stakeholders from EU called Build in Wood. And yeah, Mircea, we see you, and if you have the presentation to share,
yeah,
what is yours?
Thank you very much. I will share the screen now. Can you see my presentation?
Yes, yes, yes. And you can go, yes, now perfect.
And now, yeah.
Yes, full screen, and you can try to change the slide.
Okay. Okay.
Yes, perfect works. Thank you.
Great. So thank you very much for the introduction. I represent Brasov Metropolitan Agency for Sustainable Development, and we are project partners and represent the only early adopter city in the consortium of the project called Building Wood, which is an EU-funded project under the Horizon 2020 framework with a duration of 4 years. It started in the fall of 2019 and it will end in the summer of 2023. A total budget of 10 million euros and involved of 21 partners from 11 countries. These are the partners you can see here, and on the right side, the map. Also, we have some strategic partners from Canada, which bring forward their expertise. What is relevant about this project is that it aims to make wood a natural choice of building material for construction of multi-story wood buildings in order to decrease GHG emissions of the European construction sector. It aims to identify at a local level in pilot cities an innovative value chain for the wood industry in order to improve the connection between the rural and urban areas in terms of sustainable urbanization, and of course, increase the productivity of the building sector. The project also looks at the whole value chain and also provides some solutions, because part of the consortium, there are partners that have already successfully constructed wood buildings, tall wood buildings. So it's not only about looking at what the status quo is today, is about making also recommendation and tailored solutions for pilot cities and the stakeholder ecosystem around these value chains, local value chains, in order to better support the introduction of wood and wood-based materials into the construction of tall wood buildings. Of course, having some demonstration projects by the end of the project, of the Building Wood project. One of the members of the consortium is Thistleton Architects from London, which have constructed Dalton Works, which is one of the world's largest multi-story wood buildings in London. Actually, they are also building currently another building in London, which we have visited during one of the partner meetings. And it is pretty impressive, the adoption of wood-based materials and the process of building with wood on a construction site. I will get a bit into detail a bit more later in the presentation. Why wood and why include it in the construction process? Because buildings account for a significant part of global energy consumption, research consumption, and greenhouse gas emissions, not only during the operation of the building, but also during the construction phase. Actually, a large portion of greenhouse gas emissions occur during the construction phase of the building. There are some papers that state that production of steel and concrete alone accounts for approximately 15% of global CO2 emissions, which is not at all negligible. The focus over the years have been in increasing the operational energy efficiency, but dating back from the 1970s and into the present, you can only squeeze this lemon so much. I mean, we have come very far in relation to the operational part of a building, and we have efficientized this a lot, but also for new buildings, a lot of the pollution that comes from the production of the materials that are that go into the construction and raising the building. So basically this answers the question of why building wood looks into these, is because tall wood buildings have the most impact, and because right until now, nobody focused on the reduction of emission during the production phase. So basically, multi-story wood buildings would also contribute massively to this reduction in GHG emissions, almost to 50%. And there are studies published in this regard. For example, if you look at the production of 1,000 kilos of steel and concrete, you see that in order to produce them, you put into the atmosphere close to 2,000 kilos of CO2. Whereas if you were to use wood, this will not only not be put into the atmosphere, but the wood has a capacity along its life cycle to retain almost 2,000 kilograms of CO2. And since you put them into a building that is there for a long time, it's not a question of releasing that also into the atmosphere with wood being burned, as it is the case when you use wood for support of building in concrete, and the debris you usually burn or end up being disposed of in this way. Wood is a sustainable material, and there are three pillars: environmental sustainability, economic sustainability, and social sustainability. We all, in this project, we start from the assumption that the forests are sustainably exploited, and basically all the best practices, at least in Europe, this is what they are doing and what they encourage. I will not go into so much into the environmental sustainability because I am sure it has been covered. But from an economical standpoint, it decreases the construction time. It's a light material. The access on the yard that is building the building is less noisy. It's less to disturb the residents that are already in the area, and it's very let's say predictable. And for social sustainability, of course, working and being in a wood building has a different sort of positive impact on the well-being of the inhabitants. I will not go into much detail because there are some studies being developed also in the Building Wood project, which will be published on the website in the soon future. Basically, the project tackles not only the status quo and what is going on and what there are some current challenges in the cities, but also related to the different elements of being able to get a permit for building such a building, which relate to fire, to acoustics, to landslides and so on, earthquakes. And these are also tackled, and the project will also come up with some solutions, but it also has a work package dedicated to building systems and a BIM library for basically translating into something that can be practically used by anyone interested in this area. Also, there is a work package dedicated to scalability and stakeholder involvement, and that will bring support also after the end of the project to anyone that is interested in addressing some challenges related to building with wood tall buildings. Of course, this is part of the sustainable development goals, and you can see here to which of the goals the project contributes. And this is the business development that I was talking about earlier. There is also this type of component in the project that will address these types of issues, because in the end, the project aims to provide tailored solutions for anybody interested in adopting wood in the construction of buildings. There are a few early adopter cities. You can see these listed. There are Copenhagen, Trondheim, Innsbruck, Brasov, Trento, and London. And these are cities that have a different degree of, let's say, involvement in building with wood. Some have already buildings, some are considering including them in their on their priority agenda, which is the case of Brasov. And also in the case of Brasov, we have managed to identify the local wood value chain ecosystem, and we are in close contact with the stakeholders in order to be able to implement hopefully a pilot project towards the end of the building wood project. Basically, the cities are being involved in order to test and validate the solution that the project will provide, also from a policymaker's point of view, in order to provide a holistic solution and approach to building with wood. Of course, also the early adopters will serve as best practice examples of what can be done, because there is an entire work package dedicated to them, and taking them from where they have identified their specific challenges to bringing solutions to those challenges that can be scaled up and replicated in other parts as well. You can find many more information on the Building Wood website. You can contact me as well. You have at the beginning of the presentation all these details. And if you have any question, I'm more than happy to answer. Thank you very much for providing this presentation. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much, Mircea, for sharing us this information about using wood to build multi-story buildings. And with this, yes, please stay for the question and answer session. And with this, I would like to continue this topic and to invite Eva Leshishin from the Wood Technology Institute from Lukashevich Research Network to speak or to present us the sustainable wood construction promoting project called Basahaun. Yeah, Eva, floor is yours. Hello.
Okay, thank you, Lesia. Okay, I will share my screen. One moment.
Yes. Yes, go full screen. Mm-hmm.
Okay, do you see my presentation now?
Yeah, we see your presentation, and also we see you. Yeah, maybe you can make the screen a bit bigger, because now, yes, we see the next slide, but it makes, yes, the first slide be a bit small.
Okay, one moment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, now it's, I think now you can see better.
Yes, now it's perfect. Yes, please go ahead.
Okay, so thank you, Lesia. I would like to present Basahaun project. We are only a partner of this project, as well as in Rosewood 4.0 project. So that's why it is possible that I will not able to answer on all your questions, but I will try. We'll see. Okay, so The Bassahound project has received funding from European Union Horizon 2020 Research and Innovation Program. The project started in October 2019 and will run until September 2023. The total funding of the project is 10 million euros. And the project involves 30 partners from 12 countries, mainly from European Union, but as well as we have one partner from Chile. Here you can see the logos of our consortium. The consortium consists of partners from research units, consulting and development centers, as well as from companies, from entire sustainable wood value chain, starting from the forest through the processing of wood and its products, construction, and ending with the recycling. Main objective of Bassahound project is to demonstrate how wood construction chains can be optimized to foster both rural development and urban transformation whilst being connected with sustainable forest management in Europe. In the project, 2 full-scale medium-sized demo buildings will be constructed, one in Finland and another one in France, with using innovative architecture and a complete digitalization of the forest to building chain. Now I would like to show you our work packages, work programs. The project is divided into 6 working packages, including work package 1, which is sustainable wood construction value chain, with an assessment of its potential, guidelines defining the future value chains and its impacts on rural and urban development. Work package 2, which is recycling and wood recovery technologies, environmental issues, along with methods and possibilities of recycling, reusing wood products and recommendations. And work package 3, which is from forest to building, its digital framework with tool to follow material data through value chain. Then we have work package 4, which is innovative materials like thermal insulation materials, structural insulation panels, wood, plastic, composite, etc. Work package 5, which is building systems and products like structural components, connectors, curtain wall system with bio-components, roofs, and internal partitions. And then we have work package 6, which is demo buildings. As I said before, the first one in northern Finland and another one in southern France with demo design and its assessment. The Bassahound project includes several outstanding topics and features, and it's expected to deliver progressive results, which will be communicated as widely as possible. We have the 3 main areas of outcomes. Topic A, rural development. Topic B, sustainable wood construction. And topic C, digitalization and innovation. In topic A, rural development, the key message are that forestry is a main pillar of and employer in rural regions. Forest management is multifunctional and forest ecosystem are renewable products. The main target groups are forest owners, managers, operators of forest, forest science community, regional authorities, as well as EU policymakers. And the main outcomes in this topic are reports on wood as driver for sustainable development impacts in rural regions. Then we have topic B, sustainable wood construction. Here the key messages are that wood is a modern construction product, competitive alternative to conventional buildings, it's greener products, healthy for inhabitants, and maybe smart solution for low carbon economy. Main target group are wood industries, construction sector, planners, architects, public authorities, EU policymakers, and wood science and technology community. And the main outcomes in this topic are quite nice reports about building with wood, addressing a holistic value chain approach, including LCA assessment, as well as innovative bio-based materials, products, and constructive systems, and 2 full-scale demo building, one in France and one in Finland. And then we have topic C, digitalization and innovation. The key messages are digitalization is a main driver of change in forest-based sector, among others, application to monitor forest resources, building performance and sustainability, smart supply chains, as well as Industry 4.0 has solution to boost innovative wood construction chains. Main target groups are forestry, wood processing, construction industries, IT technology sector, innovation hubs, business developers, scientific community, architects, and public authorities. And the main outcomes in this topic are from forest to building digital framework as complete digital twin of the whole value chain, as well as a novel exploitation and co-creation platform for upscaling of results together with more regional companies and stakeholders. And here you can see the contact to coordinator of the project. The coordinator of Basajaun project is the Tecnalia Research Innovation Center from Spain. And also here also is email address to me if you have any more questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Eva, for the presentation of Basajaun project. And with this, our second block is comes to the questions and answer part. Just to remind you that we have got 4 presentations, and for first 2, the Aya from Germany and Satflor were aimed at let's say ecosystems and biodiversity, forest management issues. The second, and the artificial intelligence and then data management in these issues, as also support tool for decision making. And the 2 second best practices, building wood and Basajaun, were more addressing the issue of the using wood for building of multi-story buildings, or buildings for like so we can call them social needs, and using wood as a very sustainable product in all 3 dimensions: environmental, economically, and also socially. So if you have any questions to this block, please use this opportunity to ask for details. Yes, the session for questions is open. I also would like to remind that until you think about your questions, that from the presentation of Friedrich, the first application addresses close to nature forestry. Actually, now in Ukraine, all our participants from Ukraine know the State Forest Resources Agency, let's say the government agency who is responsible for managing forests, announced the close to nature forestry as the main silvicultural approach for managing the forest in the nearest future. So maybe you can ask, you can use this opportunity to ask some more specific questions about this part of application presented by Friedrich, or also the simulation points from the subfloor presentation. Yes, Dubrovna, I see a hand. Please go ahead.
Hello, I have the question for Friedrich. Maybe you have mentioned this, but maybe I did not really capture this information. In any of your projects, did you develop or integrate the decision support system using your sensory data from the sensors network you offer?
Mm-hmm. No, not yet. So we're working closely with foresters, but also with preservation managers. So, and they're basically it's still in their mind, I have to say. So what we're supplying them is the data on their plots. So specifically for here in the Vosges Mountains in France as well, we basically gathered the information, and together with them, they did the replanning of the management locally. So I still have to say that it's not a digital decision-making platform, but we are integrating ourselves in the decision-making processes, and also in the reporting parts for then the local regional governments to drive the decisions, but it's not fully automatic yet.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
A very important point. We want to go there. That's absolutely true.
Yeah, okay, so I understand you would be also like interested maybe in collaborating on some projects.
Yeah, thank you. Very much
this area.
so.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you, Dubrovna, for the question. Friedrich, for the answer. Any other questions? I know it takes some time to translate from English to Ukrainian, therefore maybe some few more seconds. Yeah, you can also use the chat to ask questions there. And from several of our participants, I have already heard, but we will still recheck the possibility to share the presentation so that you can, you know, take some more time if you are interested to remind yourself after our workshop or between this workshop and next workshop, the information from the presentation. So I hope very much that all the presenters will allow to share the presentation so that you can use it as a source of information for yourself. If there are no questions for the moment, you can still use the opportunity if our presenters have some time to stay with us later on in these breakout rooms. If not, thank you very much, all of you, Eva, then Mircea, and also Friedrich and Suzanne for presenting the best practices and for spending us time. I see from Suzanne that she has to leave. We appreciate much your very comprehensive presentation, and if there are some points we will, as you suggested, ask later on. And with this, I would like to immediately go to this very important, I would say the most important part of our today's meeting, where we would like to talk with you about the approach of adopting or taking up these best practices or the ideas you have heard, you have got inspiration from, taking up within your country or within the organization, or creating groups around these ideas or your own ideas that will help to address those gaps that are related to pests and disease, climate adaptive thinking, ecosystem management and forest management, as well as wood, as well as building with wood during after our presentation or during next month. So what I would like to propose you right now, we would like to create 2 groups that will discuss more in details the ideas that you have heard about, or your ideas that you will be able to share with us. We would like to create 2 groups, and the first group that we will stay in this room, in this, we call it plenary room, will be proposed to speak about the climate change, pests and disease. And just also to mention a technical moment, within this group, there will be possibility to have interpretation. And so that therefore, I kindly invite those Ukrainians who are not speaking English to stay with us in this room. And to others who would like to discuss the low level of digitalization in the wood value chain and building or wood, there will be one main room and there will be another room where you can discuss the questions of digitalization along the wood value chain. So now, before you go to these rooms, I would like to share my screen and show you the question that we would like to put up for the discussion. So we would like to speak about innovation ideas you have. And here I would like to mention that during, if you remember, during our registration, we have had a question. Do you have an innovative idea? And actually we have got 2 ideas that we would like to discuss. If there is not an innovative idea for the moment, we would like to put up this other question: how can the best practices you just heard about to be adopted in your country? Is there an interest, and how those best practices can help you to improve the situation within your country? And what kind of barriers are there, and who might be the implementer? So with this, I would like to invite you to the, again, 2 rooms. I will stop sharing my screen. You will be able to see this question again in your room. So please, those who are interested in climate change, stay in this room. And others, please go to the next room. You see on the bottom side of your screen this possibility to go to room number 1.
Hello, everyone. I will wait just for a moment if anyone is, maybe anyone else is joining us. So just 2 minutes to for any people that might be also interested in this topic. Okay, I hope everyone who wanted to join this room has joined this room. So welcome in the room number 1, which where we will talk or think maybe a little more about the digitalization in wood value chain, and also wood construction if you will be interested. So we have here these two, but the idea of this workshop generally is to find some new ideas, new innovation ideas in these topics we have specified before, or maybe try to adapt and implement or build on some best practices that we have seen today to implement them in our countries. And if maybe just, if you want to say something, just unmute and please take part in the discussion. So first of all, I would like to ask if there are any innovation ideas you want to discuss or to present today. Is there anything you want to share in this area? Maybe you have some kind of idea on the research project or business implementation project that you would like to pursue, and you are looking for the other partners to do it. So I'm opening now the discussion, and please let me know if there is anything you want to share in this area. So I guess not. So maybe we will try to start with the best practices we have seen in this second part of the workshop. Is there any best practice that has caught your attention, especially? Do you think it would be feasible to implement this in Poland, in Ukraine, or in Romania? What barriers maybe there are to implement it? Maybe there is some idea, for example, how to jointly with Friedrich, for example, build some new proposal, new decision support system.
Okay, I think I should be an icebreaker.
Thank you, Andrea.
For us as ProWood and as the Romanian partners, when we were invited for the first time to attend the kickoff event of the Building Wood project, we considered it very interesting. First of all, because there is lack of digitalization in Romania. And on the other hand, the forestry and wood industry are industries which although they are considered to be industries with quite a tradition, although they have a huge contribution to the GDP. So we always look to discover and like to work with ideas such building wood. Of course, because of mentality and because of the tradition of the wood processing, and then because of the legislation and so on and so forth, there are lots of barriers in this implementation process. but I assume that if we, through actions like this, when presenting best practices and giving, sharing the idea to as many people as possible, I really believe that we will find implementers who will support us in this process, and maybe on a higher scale. After a certain time, we will manage to create something valuable in the industry with regards to that.
Andrea, do you have any ideas maybe which will stem from this project and develop in new projects, or is there any follow-up you want to do after you complete the Build in Wood project?
So we first of all, we are not involved directly into this project. We are just involved in the stakeholders group. So we support the implementation of the project through giving some information on regular basis or attending their events. But yes, there are several attempts to proceed with this, since in our region where we are located in the center of Transylvania, there are plenty of wooden house producers. So there are different initiatives in order to encourage building with wood.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you too.
So maybe some other comments regarding other best practices. Okay, I have also another idea. I have prepared, I have scanned quickly the open and forthcoming Horizon Europe calls, which also may be interesting to researchers and to companies that are working with digital tools in forestry wood sectors. So just give me a moment and I will also share this with you. Maybe this will be some kind of inspiration as well. Okay, so I have here four calls, and some of them are more related to the digitalization of the production process. So, for example, the maybe more interesting to the manufacturers of wood-based materials, and these are, for example, these two. So, digital tools to support the engineering of a circular economy. This one is, and also the second one, circular and low emission value chains through digitalization. Both of these calls are research and innovation actions, and they refer to circular economy through tracing, in the first case, the production data, and the second case, the tracing the secondary raw material flows between the enterprises, so throughout the whole value chain. So these two are single stage actions and calls, and they end in 30th March 2022. So this might be interesting for some, as I said, mainly manufacturers, also maybe the wood construction manufacturers, the prefabricated buildings, for example. And then we have some call which is like directly directed to the wood construction sector, not only wood construction, generally construction sector, but I think it's very suitable also for wood construction, integrated solutions for circularity in buildings and the construction sector. This is innovation action, two-stage, first stage 15 February 2022. And here we are dealing with some climate neutral circular construction. It's really underlined the need for design and manufacturing for disassembly, waste prevention and management. The advanced digital solutions are also required in this call. Also, there are some aims related to elimination of hazardous substances and the really need to monitor the environmental footprints of buildings and construction materials. And the last one, which is like maybe also not only related partly to the wood value chain and partly also to forestry. Well, the main part is in forestry, but also there is the this one topic inside related to wood tracing throughout the whole value chain. So it's not stops on forestry, but in this call, harnessing the digital revolution in the forest-based sector, there are many possibilities to fund the innovation in information systems, precision forestry, timber logistics, safety and ergonomics of wood harvesting, and forest risks monitoring, and also other areas where some advanced digital solutions might be used in forest management, planning, and forest harvesting. So maybe some of you would be interested to take part in such call, and we can think about building also a project team around these topics. Are there any comments on that?
Yes, I consider it a very good idea, and maybe we should start afterwards. We should start talking on finding the best and most suitable call, and now find partners around us, if possible, to develop a proposal.
Yeah,
Sorry, we would be also very interested in taking part in one of those calls, because for us it's also giving showcases and showing the value chains that are opened up by the use of technologies and digitization. That is just extremely critical. As you mentioned before, the forest sector is usually not the first in line to adopt new technologies. Has several reasons, of course. And showing these demonstrators and showcases, I think, is extremely valuable.
Friedrich, do you also have some solutions for the further part of the value chain, not only for forests, like some AI or IoT-based sensors and networks to gather data on further steps of the value chain?
Not particularly for the wood sector, so for selling woods, but it's mainly for conservation and restoration, actually.
Okay,
so,
okay, thanks. Okay, so we have also this collaboration tool. Maybe I will also present it to you now. I'm not sure, well, maybe you will be more eager also to work on this. In the chat, you will find the, wait a minute. In the chat, you will find a link to Padlet. This is for those who are not familiar with it. This is a collaborative tool where in real time we can share our thoughts in forms of a kind of sticky notes on the virtual tablet or the virtual blackboard. So I would like to invite you there, and maybe you will be eager to share some of your thoughts there. So on the left side of the, you may you access the Padlet. You don't need to register there or anything. Just click in the link and you're there. Andrea, are you able to access the Padlet? Can you hear me?
Yes, I'm just.
Yes, I can access to Padlet as well.
Okay, so I hope everyone can do it because
it works. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So because I cannot see you there, so that's why I'm asking. So here on the left side there is a space for you if you have any new idea to pursue. There is a space to write the name of idea and fill in some other questions, and maybe if someone is interested in implementing one of the best practices we have seen during the presentations, there is a space on the right side to do it, and also to maybe write some comments. And this is a very easy tool to navigate. So if you want to add some sticky note, you just need to click on the this is, I think there's a red circle on the lower right side of your screen, or to click double click on any part of the screen. I will just share my screen again with the Padlet, so you can I think this one, yeah. So here on the left side you have the space for the new ideas, and on the right side you have the space for commenting on the best practices we have seen. And as I said, on the low right side of the screen there is a button to add some sticky note, and also alternatively you can double click in any part of the screen, then comment on something, and also you can then click on this, drag and drop anywhere you like. The other option is also, if you want to link this with some other sticky note, you can also add this little arrow here, clicking in these 3 dots here. So yeah. So now we have some few minutes to comment here. I will just delete this one. So we have the first idea: to increase accuracy in forest inventory and shorten the time of instrumental inventory of forest resources. Okay, so please here in this space, implementers present and interested, also add some names of the people and organization interested in this idea, so we can then build around it further and know who to contact regarding this topic. And implementers missing, we mean who we can also invite who is not present today on our meeting to further develop this idea. So if you have also any ideas, it's nice to put them here. Okay, we are coming to an end of the breakout room. So we will still be back in the plenary room.
Dubrovna, I'm sorry, I couldn't put it in the right place, these two last windows. So if you can to put this IT company to the implementers and this, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
and forest companies to market groups. I
think
this one.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
Expanding tracking.
On the findings, and also would like to make let's say a voting on the best practices that you have heard about. So yeah, firstly, I would like to ask Radmila to help me with voting. And the question, are our participants from the other room all back? Yes. So there is a questionnaire. We would like to use this opportunity that gives us the Zoom to ask you the question. So within the climate change, let's say best or gap, yes, climate change gap and related pests and disease gap, which best practice would you select for the workshop 2? And I already have mentioned about the workshop 2. It is planned for November 8th, and we would like to talk more in depth about one of the best practices that most of our participants will choose as the one that is in, let's say, would be very helpful, would be very supportive to the to solve situation or to solve problems that exist within the country. So I would like to encourage you to answer this question. So climate change, which best practices would you select for workshop 2? HOMED, Arboer, or ELOS? And you have heard all the three, one coming from Slovakia, ELOS, one coming from Sweden, Arboer, and one coming HOMED, I think from France.
Lesia Dobrovna here, may I add something here?
Yes, please.
Yeah, because I think when we were transferred to the room, maybe we didn't hear the beginning. So just two words about what this is, the questionnaire, what it is about. So why we are voting now. Just the main idea is that on the next workshop we would like to work further on some ideas that might be really implemented in our countries. So that might be some of the best practices that we have presented you today, but also that might be some new ideas which could emerge even between our meetings. And just, you know, for us to know, to prepare to this workshop, we would like to know which of the best practices presented are of most interest for you to implement in our countries. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much. Exactly, yes, what you have mentioned. So for the second part of our second gap, digitalization and construction, also you have heard about 4 best practices, AYA, sat floor, building wood, and Basachaun. So we, as Dobrovna mentioned, we need to select some best practices for the further elaboration. And until you think, please, I see only 2 people. For you, it's very easy to vote. You need just to choose one best practice and submit. You can choose in both of this, answer both of these questions, or you can choose one of this or within one of this section and submit. So what I see now, only yes, several people answered. So we still have some time. Please, the question is on your screen. Please vote. Yeah, we are 22 people, 14 voted for the moment. So we really encourage you to make your choice, because it's really important to select the best practices that are, you know, have potential to help you in your countries or within the forestry sector of your countries to be better prepared to face the current challenges that foresters are facing. And meanwhile you are voting, I would like also to read the comment from Andrzej Talarczyk from Poland. Unfortunately, his internet connection is low, so he would like to comment through the chat. From the Polish perspective, he found the 2 best practices very interesting: using EOT technology to measure forest parameters, and the DCC system presented by Susanna. EOT has a future as a means to reduce human work costs and increase efficiency of data collection. And the DCC solutions are very important in the face of changing climate and water conditions, which require new modeling approaches. Thank you very much, yes, for this comment. Yeah, and also Andrea is already, Dobrovna is already answering Andrzej that EO2 solutions that they discussed in the breakout room 1 also are important in the context of forthcoming Horizon Europe calls. And with this, I would like to invite Dobrovna just with a short information about these already existing calls within the Horizons and the coming calls to share this information with all of us in the room.
Yes, I have presented this already in the breakout room 1. So sorry for those who see this for the second time, but I think this is important for the whole of our participants today. So some of these calls are more related, like the first two are more related to the manufacturing part. So these two calls, digital tools to support the engineering of a circular economy and circular and low emission value chains through digitalization. They are more important probably to the producers, for example, wood-based materials or prefabricated buildings. They both refer to circular economy and to some tracing in the first case, to material and components tracing in the production, and also some decision support system, and in the second case more to the tracing of secondary raw materials along the whole value chain. And then I have also identified two other calls that will be very soon open on the 28th of October. The first one is integrated solutions for circularity in buildings and the construction sector. So this is mostly to the construction sector, not only wood construction, but I think the climate neutral circular construction is something that really can have an answer to. So in this call, the design for disassembly, waste prevention and management is underlined, and also advanced digital solutions are needed. And the last one, which I think is the most interesting to also to the first group that has stayed in the plenary room, the harnessing the digital revolution in the forest-based sector. This is an innovation action 2 stage. First stage deadline is 15 February 2022. And here we have not only wood tracing, which is maybe more interesting to the more upstream part of the value chain, but also the wide range of ICT innovations in forestry, including information systems, precision forestry, timber logistics, safety and ergonomics, forest risk monitoring, and to say just 2 words summarizing the what was happening in the breakout room 1. I can say that, for example, Friedrich representing Fault AI he said they are really interested in these calls. For example, this one, I think this one is the most suitable. He proposed also some idea to use this network of sensors to in the monetizing ecosystem services area, and we are eager to find some partners to build some partnership around, for example, around these calls. So if you are interested, please let us know.
Thank you very much, Dubrovna. I may just only add on behalf of our room, where we discussed the climate change, pest and disease. From Ukrainian side, there were 2 speakers one of them pointing the main barriers, that is the digital forestry maps, and then the precision quality, as well as absence of legal base, like a legislative base in Ukraine, about the ecological functions of the forest and about the potentials of carbon sequestrations. The second one was the new project that is now implemented within Ukraine, so-called Deep Green project, and that is addressing changes in the forest cover in the real time regime using artificial intellect and orthophoto maps, and importance of drones for wider information about the possibilities and interest in using modeling for the forest for the forest management planning and forestry solutions. I would like to ask my colleague to share the result of the voting, because we are 3 minutes over, and I appreciate really time of those who are still with us. So for the next workshop, yeah, we would like to bring up and speak in more details about Arvo Air, this startup from Sweden that is addressing issues of bark beetles and using drones, as well as yeah, building wood as the two ideas that have to be or might be more deeply discussed, and groups around those two ideas formed in order to yeah, create these teams that will be working on these ideas more. Are there any questions at the moment, or comments, or maybe unarticulated important information to us and to participants?
Maybe I also can add something, because well, in the breakout room 1, the topic of wood construction was not much discussed. So maybe we can also, if you know, if you are really interested also in these others topics more connected to the decision support system and the Internet of Things solutions, please let us know also by email in the meantime, so we can also like establish another group working on this topic for the second workshop.
Yes, thank you very much, Dubrovna, for this important information. I also, as I mentioned, I also think that we will have some time between now and November 8th, when our workshop is planned, to have some maybe bilateral discussions with our counterparts, and because this was just as a preliminary, let's say, mapping of vision, yes, of our participants for the moment. There are also some participants that are not able to join, so we also need to find out about their vision. So with this, I would like to thank you, everyone who was with us. If you are still with us, would you please switch on your camera? We will take a group photo of those who are really, really interested and spent with us these 3 hours. Got a lot of information, and I know that through translation, the information often, yes, is difficult to receive. Therefore, your presence here is even more appreciated. We are going, I sent in the chat, so yes, let's make, oh, wait a minute, my camera I think also works. Let's give me a second. Yeah, it does it. I don't see myself. Oh, I'm sorry. Anyway, please give us a big smile, and we would like to meet you once again, those who are interested to continue to work on ideas, on November 8th from 13:30 Central European time and 14:30 of time in Romania and Ukraine, to discuss these ideas, and that workshop will be shorter, because we really will go to the point of the selected best practices. Thank you once again, and I wish you all the inspiration and all the successes within your work with this new knowledge you have got from us. Thank you very much, and have a nice evening.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Yes, thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.